Before our engagement, my childhood sweetheart gave me a grand gift that left me weak all over. When I opened my eyes again, I was on a cold operating table, my hands and feet locked down. His eyes were gentle yet unfamiliar. Meow meow, be good. This is the only way to save her. Your existence is for this reason. On the large screen, his beloved was smiling palely at the camera, thanking the kind donor. The entire internet was celebrating her upcoming new life. I looked at the pulsating instruments. The screen displayed bone marrow match, 100% compatible, recipient, Lin Qingya. So, what he wanted wasn't my heart, but my life, the marrow from my entire body. On the eve of our engagement party, when Lu Jingheng fed me that glass of red wine, the tenderness in his eyes could drown a person. He said, "Meow meow, this is my gift to you." I woke up again. I was locked inside a completely transparent glass chamber. "Jingheng, you're insane. Let me out." "Meow meow, don't be afraid. This is to protect you, and it's also the most extreme way that I love you." Behind him, an entire wall suddenly lit up. It was a live stream. Lin Qingya, with a pale face, was smiling pitifully at the camera. "Thank you for your concern. And thank you to the kind-hearted sister who wishes to remain anonymous. It was her voluntary donation that gave me a second life." She paused, her eyes reddening, her voice choked with emotion. "I know that Jingheng's fiancé may have some misunderstandings about me, which is why she's hiding. I hope she doesn't blame Jingheng. I was the one who begged him to do this." "Wicked woman. She's dying and you're still jealous. How does this kind of woman deserve Director Lu? Break up with her immediately." "Qingya, don't be afraid. Once you get better, you and Director Lu must be together." Wishing Qingya a speedy recovery and 100 years of happiness. The comments scrolled frantically, each one like a knife slicing me apart. I had become a venomous woman hated by the entire internet. Lu Jingheng pressed his face close to the glass, gazing at me obsessively. "Meow meow, look, everyone wants her to live. She's so beautiful, isn't she? When you merge with her, she'll carry your life, your love, and live well. We will be together forever." Merge? Did he say merge? I felt like I had been thrown into an ice cave. This man I had loved for 10 years, who I had called brother for 10 years, was a complete madman. My gaze passed over him, fixed on a core instrument next to him. On the screen, a line of scarlet electronic letters caught my eye. Bone marrow match, 100% compatible. Recipient, Lin Qingya. Bone marrow. What he wanted wasn't my heart, but my life, the marrow from my entire body. The meaning of my existence was to become Lin Qingya's living bone marrow bank. Our 10 years of childhood companionship, all the good things he did for me, all his doting, were all for today. To push me onto this operating table with a clear conscience. If I have a next life, if I can become a vengeful ghost, I will never let him go. Lu Jingheng seemed very satisfied with my despairing expression. He turned around and pressed a red button on the wall. "Meow meow, be good. Let's do some preoperative preparations first." A robotic arm descended from above, the needle pointing at my arm. I struggled with all my might, but the shackles on my hands and feet didn't budge. The needle tip got closer and closer. I gave up struggling, and even forced a smile. "Lu Jingheng." I called his name, my voice very soft. He was indeed stunned. I looked at him and said clearly and distinctly, word by word, "Guess if Lin Qingya knew that her new life was exchanged for with a woman who is already pregnant with your child, would she still be able to smile?" My words successfully made Lu Jingheng stop. He stared fixedly at my lower abdomen, uncertainty appearing in his eyes. But only for 3 seconds. He laughed, a hint of pity in that smile. "Meow meow, don't use this kind of lie to delay time. Whether you're pregnant or not, I know better than you." He turned and pressed the red button without hesitation. My heart stopped abruptly, and I gave up struggling. He knew. He had been putting contraception in my diet all along. Squeak. The door opened. A young girl in a nurse's uniform walked in, her head lowered, afraid to look at me. She walked to the experimental platform, checked the data on the instruments, her movements stiff. I noticed that her hands were trembling. I coughed twice, my voice weak. Water. She was startled, then reacted, poured a glass of water, and passed it to me through the reserved pipe. I cooperated and drank it. As she retracted the cup, I used all my strength to ask. Surgery. When? Her eyes darted around in a panic, and she quickly spat out a few words. In 3 days. Miss Lin. Her condition isn't very stable. After speaking, she fled in a panic. The next day Lu Jingheng came. He held a cup of warm nutrient solution in his hand. He sat outside the glass compartment, his eyes gentle. Meow meow, it tastes just like your favorite strawberry milkshake. He placed the nutrient solution at the feeding port near my lips. My stomach churned. Remember? When you were little, you were the pickiest eater, and you would only eat if I fed you. He said to himself, his voice full of nostalgia and doting. You always followed behind me, calling me Brother Jingheng. You said that when you grew up, you would marry me. We're about to get engaged, meow meow. I fulfilled my promise. I looked at his affectionate face and only felt disgusted. My body was locked here, becoming nourishment for another woman, and he was reminiscing about the good old days with me. I obediently drank the nutrient solution, then raised my eyes, and tears fell at just the right moment. Jingheng. I was wrong, I was really wrong. I cried, my voice broken. I shouldn't have been jealous of Lin Qingya. I shouldn't have hidden. Let me out, okay? I'm willing to do anything, I'll donate bone marrow voluntarily, I beg you. Faced with my begging for mercy, he had a moment of emotion, but the next second, his eyes instantly turned cold. Meow meow, don't try to deceive me. She can't wait. My heart died completely. So he didn't even bother to continue pretending to me. After he left, the little nurse came again. She still lowered her head, afraid to look at me, and disinfected in a flustered manner. Because of nervousness, a cotton swab slipped from her pocket and got stuck in the seam of the bed under me. She didn't notice. After she left, I began to try to move my fingers. 1 millimeter. Another millimeter. I used all my strength, maintaining an extremely twisted posture, and finally, my fingertip touched that soft wad of cotton. I gradually, bit by bit, painstakingly hooked it into my palm, hiding it in the shadow of the lock and wrist. In the monitoring room, Lu Jingheng looked at me sleeping peacefully on the screen and turned to leave. Time flew by quickly. I used the plastic stick of the cotton swab as a lever. I used all my strength to wedge it into a tiny gap within the lock. The metal edge scraped my skin raw. Beads of blood oozed out, and I wiped them away. All I knew was that I had to pry it open. It was my only way out. Just when I was about to run out of strength. Click. A faint sound, almost inaudible. Every muscle in my body tensed instantly. It opened. The lock on my wrist loosened. A huge wave of ecstasy rushed to my head, and I almost cried out. But I held back. I curled up, hid my loosened hand under my body, buried my face in the pillow, and pretended to be asleep. Don't move. Absolutely don't move. The red dot of the surveillance camera above my head was still flashing. Lu Jingheng could be watching at any time. Just then, hushed voices came from outside the door. It was Lu Jingheng, and an unfamiliar, aged voice, probably a doctor. President Lu, Miss Lin's condition is very pessimistic. She is experiencing a strong rejection reaction, and all indicators are declining. We can't wait 3 days. She needs surgery immediately. My heart stopped abruptly. Immediately? When? Tonight? Tomorrow? I perked up my ears, even forgetting to breathe. Jinghengji. I'm so scared. Xiao Miao Jijie. Does she hate me a lot? My hand hidden under the pillow clenched into a fist. Lu Jingheng's voice was so gentle it could drip water. Don't think nonsense, Qingya. She won't. She will understand. Her bone marrow matches you. Only she can save you. This is her destiny. A surge of metallic sweetness rose in my throat. I bit my lip hard to stop myself from making a sound. Footsteps approached. They were coming in. It was too late to escape. I had to think of another way. My eyes scanned the entire lab. Suddenly, I saw a recessed area covered by a metal plate below the head of the experimental bed. It was the wiring interface for the sterile chamber. A crazy idea formed in my mind. I had to take a gamble. So, I used my free hand to grab the edge of the cover plate and pried it open with force. The cover plate popped open. Inside were dense, differently colored wires. My medical knowledge finally came into use at this moment. That was it. I identified the blue wire that represented data log uploads, and the main power line next to it. Without hesitation, I used all my strength to slam the two wires together. Zzz. The lights in the entire sterile chamber went out instantly, then flickered wildly. A sharp alarm sound echoed throughout the space. Alert! System malfunction. Alert! Life support system failure. Lu Jingheng and the doctor rushed in. What's going on? Quickly check the wiring. Now, while their attention was on the sparking interface, my other hand groped in the dark for the miniature control panel by the bed. The screen was full of scrolling error codes. I typed quickly. I disguised my name, my location, and the letters SOS as a new line of error code and embedded it in the system log. This system was connected to the central hospital in the city. As long as the log was uploaded, someone would see it. Found it. It's a short circuit. Lu Jingheng turned around and strode towards me. What was he going to do? He walked to my bed, and then his gaze slowly moved down. It landed on my wrist, which I hadn't had time to relock. He was instantly enraged. You want to escape? The next second, a large hand grabbed my neck fiercely. A feeling of suffocation instantly overwhelmed me. He leaned close to my ear, crushing my hope, word by word, with cruelty. She's next door. Xia Miao, can you escape? Let the surgery begin now. The lingering heat of his touch still remained on my neck. Lu Jingheng brought over a syringe and injected it into my arm. Instantly, I felt my entire body losing sensation. My eyelids were so heavy I couldn't lift them anymore. He put 2 handcuffs on me. My last resistance was easily erased. He dragged me like a sack of discarded garbage. A door opened. I was thrown onto a chair beside a bed. Linqingya. She leaned against the pillows, a smile on her pale face. Jingheng, go look at her. So naughty, making me wait a few more days. I've waited so bitterly. My teeth were clenched tightly, but I couldn't make a sound. Lu Jingheng stood beside her, stroking her hair. The fury he directed at me had now transformed into a gentleness that could drown a person. The door opened again. A man in a white coat walked in. Lu Jingheng straightened up instantly. Dr. Shen. This was the specially appointed expert. Shinijo. He walked straight to Lin Qingya's bed, ignoring Lu Jingheng and ignoring me. He looked at the data on the monitor, his expression unchanging. All indicators are unstable. His voice was as cold as his person. It's her. Lin Qingya trembled as she pointed at me. She did it. She doesn't want to save me. Shinijo's gaze turned to me. He saw the deep red marks on my wrists. Then he turned to look at Lu Jingheng. The recipient's emotions are fluctuating violently. The donor's condition is extremely poor. He paused. To force surgery now, the failure rate is 90%. Lu Jingheng's jaw tightened. Dr. Shen, the bone marrow is prepared. I am only responsible for the surgery, not for miracles. Shen Ijo interrupted him. If you want her to die on the operating table, you can. Lu Jingheng's face turned ashen at these words. Shen Ijo walked towards me. My heart skipped a beat. What was he going to do? He crouched down in front of me, his eyes level with mine. The donor needs to be examined, he said to Lu Jingheng, but his eyes were fixed on me. Doubt flashed in Lu Jingheng's eyes, but he finally nodded. Please. Shen Ijo's gloved fingers touched my arm, the touch bone-chillingly cold even through the hospital gown. He checked my pulse, his movements professional and detached. His other hand covered my still clenched fist. As if to check my peripheral circulation, he pried open my fingers one by one. In that instant, I felt it. A small, hard object was quickly and forcefully slipped into my palm. So fast it was like an illusion. My fingers, however, instinctively closed, clutching it tightly. His face was very close to mine. His lips moved very slightly. No sound, only the shape of his mouth. See, now. He stood up and turned to Lu Jingheng. She needs a stabilizer. The side effects of the muscle relaxant are too strong and will affect the bone marrow activity. He took a new syringe from the trolley next to him. He pushed the injection into my foreline. Lu Jingheng stared at his movements, his eyes filled with scrutiny. The needle was withdrawn. Shen Yizhou expressionlessly disposed of the syringe. Send her back, he ordered. Don't disturb her for 24 hours. I was dragged back to the glass cell again. But everything was different. A warm current spread from my chest to my limbs. It wasn't a stabilizer. It was an antidote. And my palm was all my whoop. A chip, a signal, an opportunity. I could feel myself regaining strength. He wasn't one of them. He was helping me. But who was he? And why? That warm current spread to my legs. I stared at the flashing red dot on the monitor. This time, I wouldn't fail again. The drug's effects are fading. I try to move my body. The system interface I scratch with my fingernails is just below the headboard. My fingers are clumsy, disobedient. Once, twice. The slight click of the metal contacts is the most beautiful music I've ever heard. Connection successful. I close my eyes and, with stiff fingertips, type in the code I've rehearsed 1,000 times in my mind. This is a distress signal. A string of positioning signals. Sending. On the screen, the progress bar slowly advances. 1 second feels like a century to me. Signal sent. My heart suddenly loosens, immediately followed by a deeper panic. What then? Then comes waiting, endless waiting. No, I can't just wait to be judged. The chip's function is more than that. I connect in reverse. With the key he gave me, I unlock my cage. The entire basement's surveillance system is laid bare before my eyes. Monitor 1. Lu Jingheng's office. He has his back to the camera, talking on the phone. The lines of his profile as cold and hard as iron. Monitor 2. The corridor. 2 bodyguards guarding expressionlessly. Monitor 3. My breath catches. It's Lin Qingya's room. She's not lying in a hospital bed. Not on the verge of death. She's wearing form-fitting yoga clothes, stretching her body flexibly, doing a downward-facing dog pose on the mat that's so perfect it could be in a textbook. Sunlight streams through the window, coating her in a warm halo. Healthy, rosy, full of life. She picks up her phone, dials a number, her voice delicate with a laugh. Yeah, she's stupid as hell, and really thinks I'm going to die. That idiot, she's probably still lying in the glass pod, waiting to be used as my medicinal dregs. Lu Jingheng? Of course he's on my side. Why else would he go to so much trouble? Boom. Anger burns through my chest, scorching my organs with pain. I need evidence. I hack into the hospital's internal medical system and pull up Lin Qingya's file. Black and white. Diagnosis: mild aplastic anemia. Treatment recommendation: conservative drug treatment with a good prognosis. Bone marrow transplantation can be used as a radical cure, but is not urgently necessary. Radical cure. Not urgently necessary. So she's not going to die at all. She just doesn't want to take the medicine anymore, doesn't want to go for regular checkups anymore. She just wants to use my bone marrow to exchange for a healthy life for good. Use my life to exchange for her affectation. I was freezing, my blood felt like it had turned to ice. I switched the surveillance to Lu Jingheng's office. I wanted to see him. I wanted to see the man who claimed to love me, yet personally pushed me into the abyss. His voice, through the eavesdropping audio, clearly entered my ears. Yes, Lin Qingya's surgery is just a smokescreen. Once the news of her disappearance is announced, the stock price will inevitably fluctuate. It's the perfect opportunity to short sell and wash out the shares in the hands of those old guys. Her share of the assets. I've already had the lawyer draft the transfer agreement. As long as she signs it. My hands gripped the edge of the bed tightly. So that's how it is. A surgery. A missing me. A seriously ill Lin Qingya. A perfect capital operation. What he wants isn't just my bone marrow. He also wants my money, my company, everything my parents left me. He wants me to completely disappear from this world. Unprecedented hatred filled my entire body. In the silent, sterile chamber, I laughed silently, frantically. Tears welled up uncontrollably. What I thought was despair wasn't the bottom at all. Below, there were still 18 levels of hell. Calm down. I told myself. Calm down. I began to operate frantically. The surveillance video of Lin Qingya doing yoga, packaged. Her medical records, screenshots, packaged. Lu Jingheng's phone recordings, extracted, packaged. Everything, all the evidence that could nail them to the pillar of shame. I attached this compressed explosive package to the signal channel left by Shin Ijo. Once again I clicked send. This time there was no long wait. Almost instantly, a response popped up on the screen. One word. Wait. It was him. Shin Ijo. I clenched my fists. Wait. I'll wait and see how you die. Just then, the screen suddenly flickered. A forced pop-up window appeared. A red, warning pop-up. There was a line of text on it. External communication request to connect. Requester, Lu Jingheng. The next second, Lu Jingheng's familiar face filled the entire screen. He wasn't in his office. He was in the control room. He was looking at the camera, as if he were looking at me through the screen. The corner of his mouth curled into a cold and playful smile. My darling. Having fun. He knew. He knew everything. The signal channel through which I sent the evidence was a trap he deliberately left. That word wait was not Shin Ijo's response. It was Lu Jingheng's mockery. I was exposed. On the screen, Lu Jingheng admired my expression. Isn't it strange how I know? He leisurely adjusted the camera, revealing the monitor wall behind him. Exactly the same as what I saw. Your little tricks are cute. But not clever enough. He switched to another screen. In the picture, a man in a white coat was being pinned to the ground by two bodyguards, blood at the corner of his mouth. It was Shin Ijo. The distress signal I sent directly delivered my ally into the tiger's mouth. I harmed him. I originally wanted to let you live a few more days. Too bad, you're too disobedient. Do you know, before your father died he put your hand in mine, telling me to take good care of you. See, I'm taking good care of you now. I stared at the man being suppressed on the screen, then looked at Lu Jingheng's hypocritical face. No, it wasn't over yet. Just then, on the monitor wall, an inconspicuous corner flickered. Basement level 3, electrical room. A figure in a repairman's uniform ghosted inside. He was wearing a hat and mask, his face obscured. But that figure. My heart skipped a beat. Lu Jingheng's attention was all on me. All on savoring the pleasure of being in control. He didn't notice. I stared intently at the repairman's figure, a crazy plan forming in my mind. I started operating the screen in front of me. I zoomed in and in on the one monitor screen, the one showing Lu Jingheng's office. His smug face filled the entire screen. As expected, he was captivated by his own close-up. What? Mesmerized by my handsomeness? Want to take a few more looks? It's okay, after you die, I'll burn this photo for you. His voice continued. But my fingers were typing rapidly. I pulled up the internal wiring diagram of the electrical room. Red, representing the main power supply. Green, representing the backup power supply. Connected to the main switch was the thickest red line. My gaze turned to the repairman. He seemed to be waiting for something. I was waiting for him, and he was waiting for me. Between us, across the cold screen, was a unique understanding. 3, 2, 1. I instantaneously directed a massive garbage data packet to the monitoring probe in Lu Jingheng's office. The screen in front of him froze. Frozen on his disgusting face. Damn it. Now, I used all my strength to send an instruction to the receiver carried by the repairman. Pull the switch. The whole world plunged into darkness. A deathly silence. 1 second. 2 seconds. Click. The electronic lock of the sterile chamber made a soft sound. I slammed open the chamber door with my shoulder, scrambling and crawling out. I couldn't see anything in the dark. Only Lu Jingheng's angry roar came from the loudspeaker, turning into footsteps chasing after me. Catch her. Don't let her get away. Relying on the map in my memory, I ran wildly down the dark corridor. Turn left, go straight for 30 meters, then turn right. The footsteps behind me grew closer and closer. I could even smell the sweat and tobacco on the bodyguards. Exit. I lunged forward, a figure flashed out from behind the door and grabbed me. It was him, the repairman. He knocked out the guard at the door and shoved me into a car parked in the back alley. The car shot out like an arrow. Sunlight streamed through the car window, blinding me. I survived. I really survived. The man beside me took off his mask, revealing an unfamiliar face, but I recognized those eyes. You are Shinijo. He nodded, his voice hoarse. Lu Jingheng caught my twin brother. My heart sank. He's still alive, Shinijo interrupted me. Lu Jingheng needs an expert to prove that you are seriously ill, so he won't touch him for now. I breathed a sigh of relief, then was engulfed in huge doubt. Who exactly are you? I was Lin Qingya's original attending physician. He handed me a bottle of water. My proposed treatment plan was conservative drug treatment, but Lu Jingheng rejected it. He insisted on a bone marrow transplant and falsified a critical illness notice. I questioned his motives and was fired from the hospital. I've been investigating him in secret, until I received your signal. So that was it. All the clues were connected. I leaned back in the seat, watching the street scenes rushing past the window. As if I had been reborn. I escaped. Evidence, allies, I had them all. Lu Jingheng, Lin Qingya. I clenched my fists. Wait for me. Watch the news. Shinijo handed me his phone. On the screen, a grand press conference was underway. Lin Qingya sat in a wheelchair, her face pale, tears welling in her eyes. I don't know why she would do this to me. We were best friends. Lu Jingheng stood behind her, sadly supporting her shoulders. Qingya has been through a lot of trauma. Please don't ask any more questions. The rolling news headlines at the bottom of the screen were glaringly red. Secrets of the wealthy. Xingyuan Group's heiress Su Nian, out of jealousy, attempts to murder her best friend, absconds with all of the company's assets, and flees in fear of punishment. Safehouse. The smell of disinfectant, mixed with the cold light of instruments. Shinijo drew the last tube of blood, labeled it, and put it in the refrigerator. These are all ironclad evidence that Lu Jingheng injected you with unknown drugs. His voice was calm. I nodded, my gaze falling on my arm. Dense needle holes, crisscross with purple bruises. He turned on the TV on the wall, and the news channel was broadcasting an emergency bulletin. Lu Jingheng's face appeared on the screen. Still with that affectionate look, but with a hint of exhaustion in his eyes. He spoke to the camera, his voice heavy with sorrow. Nian Nian is just sick. Her mental state has always been unstable. Her running away from the wedding and taking away assets were all because of jealousy of Qingya, and she developed delusions. Please give her some space and don't hurt her. Every word was like a venomous steel needle, stabbing into my flesh and blood. The next moment, the scene switched. Lin Qingya's live broadcast room had over 10 million viewers online. She sat on a hospital bed, wearing a blue and white striped hospital gown. Her face as pale as paper. Tears fell like broken pearls, one by one. I don't know why Nian Nian hates me so much. I treat her like my only sister, but she hates me for taking Jingheng Gij. If my existence causes her so much pain, I would rather. She covered her face, her shoulders shaking violently, sobbing uncontrollably. The barrage went wild. My heart aches for Qingya. Don't cry, Qingya. Su Nian, you vicious woman. Why don't you just die? Dox her. This kind of crazy person shouldn't live in this world. Lu is so miserable. Qingya is so miserable. Quickly bring that slut back. I watched expressionlessly. Watching them sing in harmony, performing this drama of the year. Watching those ignorant onlookers, condemning me to death with the most vicious language. Shinijo wanted to turn off the TV. I raised my hand to stop him. Let them scold. The more fiercely they scold, the harder they will fall. I opened the laptop in front of me, my fingers tapping on the keyboard. An anonymous email account. Several encrypted video files. The recipients were several leading media influencers who controlled the internet. Send. I pressed the enter key. Half an hour later, the first bomb exploded. A blogger with tens of millions of followers released a soundless surveillance video. In the video, Lin Qingya walked briskly around the hospital room, showing no signs of illness. She even gave the camera a victory sign, her smile bright yet malicious. The public uproar was instantaneous. Is this the Lin Qingya who was supposedly dying? Her body is better than mine, she'd definitely win the 800-meter race. WTF, faking illness to scam donations? Were we all played? Immediately afterward, a second and third video were released by different bloggers. Lin Qingya and Lu Jingheng kissing in the office. Lin Qingya mocking me for being a fool. Forged medical records, fake critical condition notices. Each frame was like a resounding slap, hitting Lu Jingheng and Lin Qingya hard in the face. The wind began to change. Lu Jingheng's PR team reacted quickly. A statement stamped with a red seal appeared on the Xingyuan Group's official website. All videos are AI-generated and are malicious slander perpetrated by Ms. Sun Yan in retaliation. We have reported the matter to the police. Lin Qingya also posted a Weibo message. I really don't know what to say. Why must you push me to the brink? Some wavering netizens began to sway again. I knew it. How could someone fake an illness for so long? Sun Yan is too malicious. If she can't have him, she'll destroy him. She's a psychopath. Support Qingya. Support Xiao Lu. Punish the rumor mongers severely. Looking at those upside-down black and white comments, I laughed. Flailing desperately, how ugly. I dragged a compressed file onto the desktop. Inside was the complete chain of evidence of Lu Jingheng using his position to transfer Xingyuan Group's assets, bit by bit, to overseas shell companies. The time, the amount, the accounts, each one was so clear that he couldn't deny it. This time, I didn't remain anonymous. I used my real name account to make this file public. And added a line of text. Lu Jingheng, Lin Qingya, I'm back. The internet completely crashed. Just as the entire network was digesting this shocking megascandal, Shen Yizhou, using his verified medical expert account, went online. He published a long article, analyzing the inconsistencies in Lin Qingya's medical records from a professional perspective, and at the end of the article he attached a sentence. As Lin Qingya's initial attending physician, I reasonably suspect that my patient is being subjected to some kind of illegal medical procedure, the purpose of which may be related to seizing huge amounts of property. An authority spoke out, setting the matter in stone. The tsunami of public opinion completely erupted. Hashtag Lin Qingya faking illness hashtag. Hashtag Lu Jingheng conspiracy hashtag. Hashtag heartache for Sun Yan hashtag. 3 entries, blood red, hung at the top of the trending searches, followed by a purple explosion tag. Those who once cursed me the most fiercely were now frantically at ing me to apologize. Those fans who had shed tears for Lin Qingya rushed into her live broadcast room, using even more vicious words to tell her to get out. I leaned back in my chair, quietly watching it all. There was no elation of revenge. Only a cold, settled calm. Lu Jingheng, Lin Qingya. Game over. My phone suddenly vibrated. It was a text message from an unknown number. Ms. Su, I am Mr. Wang Han, your father's lawyer. Your father's will automatically came into effect the moment you fled the Lu family. The contents of the will may not be what you think. Also, regarding your mother's death, I have some new leads here. Lu Jingheng acted faster than I expected. The moment I made public the evidence of him transferring assets, he immediately announced that he would hold an emergency press conference. The topic was, Lin Qingya's condition worsened, and she was on the verge of death due to unbearable cyberbullying. The press conference venue was packed. Lin Qingya sat in a wheelchair, various medical instrument tubes inserted into her body, her breath as weak as a spider's silk. Qingyashi. She just wants to live. Lu Jingheng held the microphone, his eyes red-rimmed, his voice hoarse, each word like blood squeezed from his throat. But some people, for their own selfish desires, use the most vicious rumors to try to force her to death. Sun Yan, I wonder if you feel a shred of guilt watching all this. He suddenly looked up, facing the camera, and roared each word. The reporters below the stage frantically pressed their shutters. Sympathy, anger, pity. All emotions were easily ignited by him and then aimed at me, this vicious woman. Lin Qingya cooperated by coughing a few times, spitting a mouthful of blood onto her snow-white hospital gown. A gasp went through the audience. Lu Jingheng immediately dropped the microphone, rushed over to hug her, his expression one of utter grief. Qingya, what a deeply devoted, unforgettable performance of the year. I stood at the entrance of the venue, watching their superb acting on the big screen, almost wanting to applaud them. Shen Yizhou stood beside me, his brow furrowed. Go in. I nodded. It was time. The moment the doors were pushed open, the noisy venue became eerily silent for a second. Then there was an even more intense, wave-like commotion. It's Sun Yan. How dare she come? Take pictures. Take pictures. I ignored the searching, contemptuous and angry gazes, and walked step by step down the long aisle. Lu Jingheng, seeing me on the stage, his grief was quickly replaced by a fierce glint in his eyes. He quickly reacted, pointing at me, and harshly ordered the security guards. Get that crazy woman out of here. Lin Qingya also forgot about spitting blood, widened her eyes in horror, and subconsciously shrank back. The security guards swarmed towards me. Shen Yizhou stepped forward, protecting me behind him, and coldly flashed his credentials. I am Lin Qingya's former attending physician, and I have the right to clarify some facts here for everyone. His voice was not loud, but it was like a reassurance, making the crowd temporarily quiet down. I bypassed the security guards and walked straight onto the stage. Lu Jingheng's face had completely darkened. Sun Yan, what exactly do you want? Are you not satisfied until you force her to death? He tried to grab me, but was blocked by Shen Yizhou. I didn't look at him, but went to the backstage equipment and connected my laptop to the big screen on site. Lu Jingheng's face turned deathly pale at that moment. As if sensing something, he rushed over like a madman. Turn it off. Turn it off now. Too late. The big screen flickered. The photo of Lu Jingheng and Lin Qingya looking at each other affectionately disappeared. What replaced it was the basement where I was imprisoned. In the picture, I was imprisoned in a sterile chamber, emaciated. Tubes were inserted all over my body, and the progress bar of bone marrow matching was displayed on the screen next to it. Lu Jingheng's voice, clearly transmitted through the speakers, resounded through every corner of the venue. Sun Yan, your bone marrow, your blood, everything you have, belongs to Qingya. This is your fate. Even if you die, your bone marrow can save her, you should feel honored. Immediately afterwards, the scene changed. Lin Qingya, wearing a beautiful dress, stood outside the sterile chamber, smiling brightly. Sister, look how much Jingheng loves me. He's even willing to kill for me. And you're like a dog in a pen. The video was not long, only a few minutes. But it was like a heavy hammer, shattering the values of everyone in the venue. The reporters who had just been verbally attacking me at this moment had faces filled with horror and disbelief. Ah! A piercing scream broke the silence. Lin Qingya, as if crazy, jumped up from her wheelchair, wanting to smash the screen. She forgot that she was still critically ill. Forgot that she was still spitting blood. Her nimble appearance was more convincing than any evidence. It's fake. It's all fake. It's AI generated. Lu Jingheng roared, struggling desperately. I looked at him coldly. Whether it's fake or not, the police will tell you. As soon as I finished speaking, the doors of the venue were pushed open again. This time, a group of police officers in uniform walked in. The leading officer, with a serious expression, walked straight onto the stage. Lu Jingheng, Lin Qingya, we have received a report suspecting you of illegal detention, intentional injury, commercial fraud and other crimes. Please come with us. Cold handcuffs locked Lu Jingheng's wrist. He did not resist, just stared at me intently, his eyes filled with monstrous hatred and unwillingness. Lin Qingya, on the other hand, completely collapsed to the ground, shouting, crying, and behaving like a real madwoman. I watched them being taken away by the police, their disheveled figures, without any waves in my heart. The second day Lin Qingyao was sent to the detention center. She fainted due to excessive fright and psychological stress, exacerbating her mild anemia. This time it was real. Unfortunately, no one sympathized and no one believed her. The inmates in her cell looked at her pale face and only felt unlucky. The warden just followed procedure and sent her to the infirmary, her eyes filled with undisguised contempt. Her sickly beauty act completely failed here. The internet has a memory. Angry netizens formed a skinning group and peeled back her life's trajectory, inch by inch, exposing it to the sunlight. It turned out that since college, she had used her anemia and heart problems persona to swindle school subsidies. After work, she used this as an excuse to launch multiple online fundraising campaigns, tearfully recounting her story of fighting against illness. She used the donations to buy designer bags, wear haute couture dresses, and even subsidize all the expenses of her gambling-addicted younger brother. The charge of suspected massive fraud was the last straw that broke her. Lu Jingheng's company, on the other hand, collapsed like the first domino to fall. Commercial fraud, illegal detention, intentional injury, malicious transfer of assets. Every single one was enough to obliterate his business empire. The stock price plummeted for consecutive days, he was insolvent, and was forcibly liquidated. His life's work, which he had struggled for half his life, vanished in a few days. The most fatal blow came from his family. The Lu family published a statement in the newspaper. Our company and the Lu family are shocked and outraged by Mr. Lu Jingheng's personal illegal acts. From today onwards, we sever all ties with Mr. Lu Jingheng. Every word was like a dagger. To be abandoned by everyone was the fate he deserved. I went to the trial that day, sitting in the audience, watching Lu Jingheng and Lin Qingyao wearing prison uniforms, being escorted to the defendant's dock by the bailiffs. He was thinner and more haggard. The vigor and spirit in his eyes had been replaced by a deathly gray. He saw me, his lips moved, as if he wanted to say something. I just looked at him blankly. Witnesses and evidence were all present. The video from the basement was once again played on the screen in the courtroom. Sun Yan, your bone marrow, your blood, everything you have belongs to Qingyao. This is your fate. Lu Jingheng closed his eyes, his body trembling slightly. Lin Qingyao collapsed on the spot, crying and shouting that the video was fake, that it was AI deepfake. Her lawyer lowered his head awkwardly, giving up the defense. Before the verdict was announced, I went to visit Lu Jingheng. Seeing me, he seemed to have grasped at the last straw, his eyes instantly bursting with light. He picked up the phone, his voice hoarse and urgent. Nian Nian, you're here, you still care about me, right? Nian Nian, I was wrong, I was really wrong. It's Lin Qingyao, she tricked me. She said she was dying, I was just temporarily blinded. He cried bitterly, pressing his forehead against the glass, begging me for forgiveness again and again. Nian Nian, have you forgotten our past? We said we would be together forever. I listened quietly, listening to him push all the blame onto another woman. Listening to him use our already rotten past to beg for my pity. Until he was crying and gasping for breath, I slowly picked up the phone. Lu Jingheng. I called his name. He looked up sharply, looking at me with eyes full of expectation. I told him clearly, word by word. You personally killed Sun Yan. Killed her twice. Once in that dark and desolate basement. His pupils suddenly contracted. I tugged at the corners of my mouth, revealing a smile without warmth. Once is now here in this place. The blood drained from his face instantly. I hung up the phone and turned to leave. Behind me were his desperate, animalistic roars. The judgment was long. Intentional injury, illegal detention, fraud. Several crimes were combined, and both were sentenced to severe punishments. I left early without listening to the end. The sunlight was dazzling. I looked up at the sky, and the emptiness in my heart was finally blown away by the wind,